This new world guide is going to explain to you how to level up your Arcana skill from level 1 all the way to level 200 in the most efficient way possible. Everything is timestamped below if you want to skip ahead. I'm also going to be showing you how you can make money while also leveling the Arcana skill at the same time once you get to the right level. But currently you'll find the common focus potion is the fastest and most efficient way of leveling in the game, which you can use after you get to level 5 Arcana. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but starting out at Arcana level 1, we'll be crafting the weak health potion, which requires bulrush cop and water. Now, Arcana is actually one of the fastest skills to level up in the game, especially early on. A lot of people just don't realize how to do it. So essentially, starting out, you want to find yourself any river that's inland. So you can see there's rivers running along here. There's a lake just here that I'm at currently. I'm actually just here east of Everfall. It doesn't matter if the river is near a settlement. It just needs to be a river. Once you arrive at the river, you're going to be looking for these bulrush. Now, when you harvest a bulrush, you're going to get some reeds and some bulrush. Now, usually when you harvest these bulrush, you'll get between 1 and 2 bulrush cop, which is what we need for the health potions. The other thing we need is obviously the water, and fresh water. Any inland river or lake is going to give you fresh water. You can just stand here and repeatedly harvest 11 or so at a time, and it's like unlimited water and reeds. Now, you may be wondering to yourself, but Danny, I have to come all the way back to the settlement to actually craft any of this stuff. Well, that's where you're wrong, because you can actually go ahead and press Y, and you can put down your camping tent right next to the location that you're going to be harvesting all these ingredients, and you can craft health potions at your tent. All you need to do is grab 1 flint, and then some green wood, which you can get from trees or bushes. And then we're going to go ahead and build our campsite. Mine's tier 3, but you can do this with a tier 1 campsite as well. It honestly doesn't matter. So go ahead and craft. And as you can see, if I scroll down, I can craft myself weak health potions from my campsite. And you only require the basic camping tier 1 to do this, which you get at the very start of the game. So as you can see, I just need to harvest bulrush and water, and then I can go ahead and craft myself health potions. And that's what I'm going to do until I get to at least level 5, where you can start the next step. But I actually recommend you just sit here and do this for a while. You can even do this for an hour, especially if you find a lake like where I am in Everfall with tons of bulrush. You can just sit here and harvest all of this bulrush, and what you'll find is that it starts to respawn before you've even finished harvesting like one section of it, because there's so many players around these areas. So it'll just continuously respawn before you can finish harvesting it. And you'll also see that as I'm harvesting this, I have a chance to pick up a firefly, which is a type of fishing bait. Firefly bait actually gives you a large boost chance for catching a better fish in fresh water, meaning inland rivers or lakes. So you can actually sell that for a decent amount of money, or use it yourself if you're following my fishing guide. It's one of the most readily available sources of fishing. Another thing you'll notice is that as well as all these bulrush reeds that I'm picking up, and these ones have already started to respawn, but you'll notice that I'm getting tons of reeds from all of these bulrush that I'm harvesting. Now, currently, the only thing that reeds are actually useful for in New World is the furnishing skill line to make wicker baskets, which is a very good way of leveling up. But if you're selling these, they're only worth 0.01 gold. So unless you're planning to store them for leveling your furnishing skill, that guide is coming out, by the way, so subscribe for that. I recommend just throwing them all on the floor because they're just a waste of space. The only thing we actually want is bulrush, and you can see while I was literally explaining that, all of these have just respawned. So being generous, it's going to take you around 5 to 6 minutes to harvest 100 water and 100 bulrush crops. With that, you can craft 100 weak health potions, but you only get 6 arcana each. So you're going to get 600 experience from crafting those 100 potions, which will take you around 5 to 6 minutes to do each time. So to give you an idea, if you were to level from 1 to level 50 purely crafting weak health potions, it would take you 1,833 weak health potions to get you from 1 to 50. It would take you 90 minutes just using this method to get you to level 50 Arcana. However, there are much faster ways, so don't do that. As for the weak health potions that you're going to have left, they're only worth 0.01 in most trade centers, so I'd actually just throw them on the floor when you're done, unless you are a low level, in which case just keep them on your character so you can use them as you're playing the game. Next, once we have reached level 5 Arcana skill, we can start on our next method. We're going to need to come here to an arcane repository, which is basically the crafting table for potions, which can be located in any settlement at this icon just here on the map. We're going to come on inside here and open up the crafting bench, and specifically, now we are at least level 5 Arcana, we want to craft the common focus potion. Now this requires a little bit more of either crafting or buying the ingredients, which can be brought very, very cheaply, and I'll explain why in a moment. So if you click this button just here, you can see you can actually also use water motes. Now water motes are very cheap and very easy to farm. And then the other ingredient we need is water, which is also very easy to farm. In fact, I'm actually currently just here in Windswood, and just behind the alchemy area, there's a river that runs through the town where you can just carry on getting an unlimited supply of water. The other ingredient we need are the water motes, and I'm going to explain how you can buy these or craft these right now. Now, there are two ways to get water motes. You can either craft them or buy them. If you actually come to any settlement, you can find a trading post represented by these scales here on the map. If you come to this trading post, go ahead and open it up and then search for mote. It comes up with a list of all of the basic motes that exist in the game. Now, specifically, we want the water mote for this next method. And as you can see, it's actually very cheap. Usually it's around 1 gold is like the average market rate at the moment. But if it's less than that, then it's probably worth buying because you can actually resell it at a higher price at some point, especially on the weekend. But if I go up here on the top right and I select all settlements, I can actually see here the cheapest places in the game where water motes are currently being sold. So as you can see, Windswood is actually one of the cheapest locations, with First Light also being very cheap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy all of these water motes for a very cheap rate at 0.55 gold each. And I spend about 45 gold each time here. And I've now brought 257 water motes in total, and that cost me about 120 gold or so there. The other way to get water motes is to gather them from rivercress. This is what watercress looks like. You get 6 to 12 each time, and you require level 30 gathering skill to actually harvest these types of elemental plants in the first place. Or alternatively, you can have level 30 mining skill to get the ore version. And you always find it along the riverside as you walk around New World. That's the fastest place to locate it. If you guys want my full farming guide on where you can get rivercress for yourself, check out the link in the description. I'll show you the best farming route and also how you can increase the amount of watercress you actually harvest and your gathering speed and luck chance at harvesting rarer ingredients from it too. So now we've got both the water motes and the water. We need one of each. Let's go ahead and craft all of these. We get 24 experience for each one of them. Also, bear in mind that even though I'm crafting 567 of these, I'm only getting taxed 13.55 gold, which is... There we go, 13,600 Arcana experience there, which has boosted us to level 78 now. Now we are left with all of these common focus Arcana potions. They boost your mana regeneration by a small amount for 60 seconds. However, the only reason you're going to craft these is to literally just level up your Arcana skill. Sadly, they have no resale value. So we're quite literally just going to throw them all on the floor. Unless you're playing a mage build, maybe you can use some of them, but really we're just using them for leveling here. Now, before I show you guys the next method, my advice is whenever you have water motes and you're leveling up your Arcana, simply just always craft common focus potions. They're always worth it for the experience. However, for all of the other motes, you require like a secondary ingredient. So I don't know if this one is like a mistake, but it is the most efficient potion in the entire Arcana skill line that you can level up with by crafting. The next thing I want to talk about is the common health potion, because you can actually make money while you're crafting these. However, the ingredients that you require to craft them are a lot less available for you to gather as quickly, meaning that it's going to take you more time to gather the necessary ingredients, even though you can make more money by doing so. So if we click on this, we can see a list of the ingredients that are required for common health potions. The two most common ingredients are the lifebloom stems and the plate cap flesh, with glowing mushrooms coming a close third. I'll leave a guide on where to farm all three of these in the description below. I think the plate caps are probably the most readily available ingredient out of all of these. As you can see, we get 96 Arcana, and we get 24 Arcana for crafting each of these. So it's actually the exact same amount of experience as the common focus potion. Now at level 50 Arcana, you unlock the ability to create strong health potions. However, you're not really going to be using them for leveling up. Once again, you can still sell this for a lot of money. It's usually going for around 15 gold in the marketplace. However, before you craft this, change this bottom option to the earth mote just here, because then it won't be as expensive for you to basically craft. Secondly, you have an option of using one of 4 different ingredients. The most readily available ingredient is either the gleaming lodestone or the lifebloom leaf. The lifebloom leaf is going to be the most easy for you to gather. You basically get it from the lifebloom plants along with the lifebloom stems. And just in case you didn't know, this is what a lifebloom plant actually looks like. And if you follow my harvesting guide, I will show you the location of all of these below. But the added benefit of crafting these strong healing potions is that you get 90 Arcana experience, which is obviously a decent amount of experience. However, it is much harder to obtain these green ingredients here that are listed to craft the potion. Therefore, it's something you want to make just to make extra money, but you're not going to be leveling up by purely making strong health potions. Now, before you sell your health potions, here's some advice. You're going to come to the trade center and you're going to look for common health potion. And then make sure you come up here to the top right and then you say, show all settlements. And then what you can do is you can compare the cheapest current price rate for health potions. But you can see here in Monarch's Bluff, the current going rate for health potions is around 7 gold. So we're going to place a sell order for 6 gold. Because that's more than enough for a common health potion. And then, because I have 100 of them, I'm going to max out that fee. But the listing fee is now 24 gold. So instead, I'm going to actually put this down to 1 day. So now it's 12 gold. And I'm going to try and sell 50 health potions a day. So the listing fee is only 6 gold. And I guarantee these will sell overnight, especially on the weekend. There's usually like a peak in sales. So we're going to go ahead and place that order. Obviously, it's going to be different for your server, but especially in starting towns, common health potions are pretty good to sell. Now, when you're selling the strong health potion, you can see the average listing fee is between 15 to 30 gold on average. But if we go to all settlements up here, we can get a more close idea for the current market rate. It's around 10 gold. But here in Monarch's Bluff, they're selling for around 15 gold. So I'm going to go ahead and put it around that. And we're going to sell 36 of them. And we're going to list them for just 1 day for 7 gold. And they will sure enough sell. So a few hours later, we've already sold those 36 strong health potions pretty much immediately. And also I previously listed some more common health potions at 10 gold as well. And we sold all of them but 5 for 10 gold. Also for powerful health potions, you can actually use the lifebloom flower, which is a tier 4 ingredient. And I'll show you how to get that in my harvesting guide. And then you can just use the standard earth and soul motes to craft that, and that can be sold at a very decent price as well. So continuing on our leveling guide, the next thing you're going to unlock at level 25 Arcana is the ability to craft yourself wisps. Now, we already spoke about motes and how you get those from gathering them from all the different elemental plants that exist around the game. Well, you can then use those motes to turn them into soul wisps, life wisps, and fire wisps, and so on. Now, the advantage of these is that you can craft them, and make gold at the same time. As you can see, one air wisp requires 5 air motes. And you can actually buy the air motes cheaper than you can sell the air wisp, meaning that you can make money by crafting these and getting experience at the same time. I'll give you advice on selling them in a moment, but before you actually sell them, carry on watching the video because I'll explain how you can actually use these to make even more money and get even more experience after. But one thing you may notice while crafting these is I have 664 soul motes, so I can make 132 soul wisps. But I only get 15 experience for each one of those. So it may seem like not a lot of experience for the investment, which is why if you have any water wisps, you should definitely be crafting the common focus potion that I just showed you just for the experience. The same can be said for earth wisps. You should prioritize crafting health potions because that's more experience and you can also sell those for more gold. However, all of the other motes that you find, you're going to want to be crafting them into wisps. So here we go, we got 1,980 Arcana, giving us 142 Soul Wisps. I'm now going to show you guys how you can sell these Wisps to make money at the same time. However, it's also worth holding on to them, and I'll explain why after that. So we go to the trade center again, and we search for Wisps. We can see all the different types of Wisps. Make sure on the top right that you go to all settlements, by the way, and we can see here already that the average price of air wisps across my server is between 7 and 10 gold, usually around 10 gold in Windswood. Now if we type in air mote, we can see that air motes are only worth 1 gold, and I always recommend buying them when you see them under 1 gold. But even if you buy them at 1 gold, you can actually use 5 of them to make yourself a wisp and then sell it and make more money. So essentially you're getting experience while leveling up, and it's been this way for literally like since the game's come out. And the reason for this is a lot of people are using these materials in stone cutting and other professions, but no one's bothering to actually farm these with Arcana skill. Therefore, by leveling your Arcana skill, you're actually doing a really under demand service right now. So once you reach level 75 Arcana, you can now make essences. Now essences are created by, for example, earth essence is created from 4 earth wisps. The earth wisp is created with 5 earth motes, and then obviously this is the next stage once you reach level 75. What you'll realize is that you get 48 Arcana now. So for example, with this earth essence, if I go ahead and make 100 of these, I now get 4,848 experience for doing so, which is going to level me up to 91 Arcana. And I can do the same with all of the life wisps. I can convert them into life essences, and we can just farm all of this experience now we've reached level 75 Arcana. Then once you reach level 125, you can then upgrade everything into earth quintessences or soul quintessences, which requires 3 of the essences that you just created. And then that is the max level of upgrade you can get. And you can see the soul quintessences are going to give you 90 Arcana experience each time you craft them. So in total, by crafting a wisp into an essence and then a quintessence, you're going to get 153 experience to Arcana. Now, before you upgrade these, you're going to want to come to the trade center and just double check how much the essences are selling for. So we're looking at the earth essence here. This one is only selling for 20 gold in Monarch's buff. Now, if I was to sell them separately as earth wisps, then I'd actually make more money. So I've actually lost money by upgrading them. However, we're looking at every single city in the server right now, and the only other place they're available is Everfull, where they're selling for 70 gold, which is actually a very reasonable price considering how much skill investment it actually takes to make them. So you're going to want to check the price and see if you're still making money, and then if you do want to sell them, you want to sell them at a town where currently no one's going to be selling them cheaply, or they're not being sold there currently. Alternatively, if you're using the stone cutting table, which is just here, you can see that in order to create brilliant gems of any kind, you actually need the appropriate connected essence to do that. So if you're leveling up Arcana and stone cutting, these essences, and also when you get there, quintessences, are going to be infinitely useful in order to make lots of money, which is very easy to do with gem crafting and jewelry making in New World. And also tons of experience for stone cutting, as you can see here. Now, as for all of the other potions that you can begin to craft at later Arcana levels, you may be wondering if it's worth crafting these or not. Most of them, according to my endgame guildmates who are already level 60, aren't actually used in any of the endgame content or dungeons. They're just not required. However, they do give us 620 Arcana experience each time we craft them. But what you'll find that unless you're crafting infused health potions, there's just not a demand for any other potions in the game right now. So what you should do is check the current trade market sale price and see what they're currently selling for before you craft them. Otherwise, you'll just end up wasting some of these rarer ingredients. Another quick mention of things that you can craft is the Iron Life Staff or the Iron Fire Staff. This requires that you have 12 iron, 5 coarse leather, and then either life motes, fire motes. This is going to give you 276 Arcana per staff. So if you have tons of spare iron and coarse leather, it can be a good way to level up quickly. However, if you're buying these ingredients, it's definitely not the most efficient way. I just wanted to quickly mention it in case you had lots of leftover ingredients from something else you're doing. The other thing I want to talk about is crafting staffs in general. So say, for example, we have this steel staff. You can see the gear score and the damage that this staff is going to be doing depends on my Arcana skill. The higher my Arcana level, the higher the potential gear score is going to be. And the higher the gear score is, the more damage these weapons are going to do. Now, I can actually increase the potential gear score by selecting rarer ingredients. So for example, if I select void metal as an ingredient, it's going to increase the range that the gear score has. I can choose glittery ebony and I increase the gear score even further. The maximum gear score a steel fire staff can have though is 400. Now if I scroll all the way down to some of the unique named weapons, for example, the Rage Fire Staff, this is a uniquely named weapon. So it requires a set amount of ingredients and it has a set number of different perk effects that cannot be changed. Also, it has a set gear score of 545. The max gear score in the game is currently 600. So bear that in mind. And if these fast, efficient money-making leveling guides do help you out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I've also got a leveling guide for every other skill linked below in the description. If it's not there now, it's coming out soon.